All right, picture this. Imagine you've got one of the greatest caddies in the world playing alongside you, advising you on exactly what to do. We're talking about Fluff, Bones, Steve Williams, one of the greats. Imagine they know your tendencies, your strengths, your weaknesses, everything about your game. They've got one of those PGA cheating green books in their back pockets. They know how the green is going to slope and how the putts are going to break. You can have that for yourself with this watch. This is the Garmin S70. It has an AI virtual caddy built into it. On today's video, we're gonna discuss the features. I'm gonna show you how it works, how it has improved, and I'm gonna see if it can help me with the right decisions to make even par or better out here on course at the beautiful Carrollwood Country Club. Let's get to work. Now, in order to get the virtual caddy to work for you, there's a couple of things that we wanna do here to get set up. First of all, you'll wanna go into the settings of your app and make sure that Club Stats is selected. You'll also wanna make sure in the settings that you keep score on each round. That's really important. For whatever reason, sometimes these watches default to not have club stat tracking turned on, so you want to make sure you do that. The second piece of the equation is you want to play 5 full rounds with your Garmin S70 or whatever Garmin smartwatch has the virtual caddy running, and that will help build out your bag. Again, it's going to know your misses and it's going to know the average distance of each club you hit. If we're going to start with golf, we're going to push that big button up top. We're going to hit play golf. It's going to wait for the GPS signal to lock on. I found with this watch, it is really, really quick. This is the best that Garmin has ever been in terms of quickness of the GPS locking on. As you can see, that happened in real time. We've got our clubs here, the nearest clubs to us, and I am going to be playing Cypress to Meadow today. It's going to load the course, ask me if I want to keep score, which of course I do. What tee box I'm going to play, I will be playing the white tees, and as you can see there, well, we're standing about 30 yards from the tee box right now, but that's the distance. Let me walk up a little bit further and show you a few other things. All right, so here we are up at the tee box, and as you can see, this is actually suggesting for me a 3-wood, and that is because I often yank it left into this pond here. If I tap on the virtual caddy, you can see that my average strokes, if I were to play this with a 3-wood, would be 4.3. Now I can take the caddy's advice, or I can go look at other options here. For instance, if I were to choose driver, 4.5 is the average stroke I would take on this hole. As you can see, the square here is the landing zone and the dispersion of my shot, which is really important. You can see that oftentimes my dispersion could land in that water. It could also land in that bunker there, short right, if you can see that. So that's why it's suggesting the 3-wood here. If I go 3 hybrid, 4.3 is another option. And you can actually just, again, you can just kind of scroll through and choose the best club in any situation. I'll go ahead and listen to the virtual caddy here though, and I'm going to go 3-wood and see what happens. It's probably a good thing I didn't use driver because that ball was leaking left, but it stayed up, which is great. We're not in the water. As you can see, I've got a club prompt here. All right, it's asking me what club did I hit. You can scroll through here, and I hit a 3-wood. So that's actually the ingenious way that this virtual caddy builds out your bag and your average distances, average misses. It asks after every shot what club you hit, and then by the time you play the next shot, it knows how far the previous shot went and where it landed. It's a really simple concept, but it works great. All right, so we found our ball here, and as you can see, the virtual caddy there is suggesting me a gap wedge. I've got 112 to the pin if I want to look at the plays like distance. It's actually 115, and what's really cool now is that you can swipe down and see what goes into this calculation of the plays like distance. This is a first here with the Garmin S70. So you can see here the slope is flat, the wind's against me 4 yards, it's hurting, that's why it's playing like 116, and the weather, which means the air pressure and the weather conditions, are not changing that calculation. Now there's more to say on that in just a second after I hit this shot. I pulled it a little bit, and is it going to be enough? No, I chunked it. I chunked it. Again, we've got a little haptic feedback reminding us to choose what club we hit. I chose gap wedge there. Let's go get that ball. All right, as you can see, I missed short, but I didn't miss in that bunker and I didn't miss in that water. It knows that my gap wedge is generally pretty on line. I just hit that a little heavy, and let's see if we get her tight. Not too bad. Again, asking me what I hit, I did hit lob wedge. Sometimes around the green, those shots don't register. It happened to register right there, but sometimes little chips, little putts don't register. But with an optional upgrade of the CT10 sensors, you're going to get a lot better shot detection. A little 3-footer here, knee knocker to start the day. But we put it away. Now another useful addition to this S70 is that you've got this pencil icon down there, and that is where you can edit your score. Before, it used to just go into scorekeeping mode when you were near the green, but now it waits to see if there's any shots on the apron, that sort of thing. So big improvement there. As you can see, it's going to ask you how many strokes you had. I'm going to go up or down there, and I actually had a par, so we'll go next. It asked me how many putts. I actually one putted that, so it's going to know that I had a little chip there close by the green, and then ask if there are any penalties. No, I did not. I gotta say, I'm happy I listened to the virtual caddy there, because it kept me out of the water there on the drive, and on the approach shot, it kept me out of trouble. At least it knows my tendencies and where I normally miss with each club. Super cool, super cool. All right, we're coming to a par 5 here. All right, the virtual caddy here is recommending driver for me. This is a longer par 5. That makes a lot of sense. Now, if you do want to see a little more feature of this hole and see where your landing zone is, you can pop in there. You can see that square is pretty big. I've got a couple bunkers I do need to stay away from. By the way, the flicker on this screen, I don't see that in real life. That has to do with this phone's frame rate and the watch frame rate being a little different. That line there, though, is, again, kind of where my average drive would land, so that's really helpful. And if you want to look around here, you can kind of scroll, see a little more of this, see where some of the features of this hole look like. And if you go up here like this, you can actually zoom into the watch. Then you could use these buttons down here just to see where hazards are and where distances are that you may want to get to with particular clubs. So you can see that bunker there is 240 out, so it's definitely in range. I want to stay away from that. And you can cycle through different hazards here by pushing those buttons. Oh, I hit it high. Very high, but it is right down the middle, more or less. But definitely lost some distance there. So I mentioned that there's a little more that goes into this calculation now when it comes to the virtual caddy and what club it selects for you. First off, when I asked the Garmin engineers about it, they said that it will now take into account the type of lie you've got. So for instance, if you hit your 7-iron, let's say like me, 160, 165 yards, and you find yourself 165 yards out, but you're in a fairway bunker, and you're not a good fairway bunker player, it's going to suggest another club. It might suggest a 6 or a 5. And also, depending on the dispersion maps and where it thinks you will miss, it's actually going to select a club that it's going to give you the best opportunity to score with. If there's a lot of trouble in front of the green, for instance, it might select you an extra club to get over that trouble. Again, depending on your dispersion map. So really cool what goes into this calculation. All right, we're up here at our ball. Again, it asked me what I hit on the previous shot there. That was driver. The virtual caddy is thinking, and it's telling me 3-wood here. Run, baby, run. We're actually in great shape. Kudos to Garmin there. I didn't want to trust it, but I'm glad I did. Now, one thing I want to do here is I want to make my calculation a little better. So I can hit view green here, and you can see these new maps that Garmin has. This is an optional $99 software upgrade, but it's very cool, especially if you've never played a course, to know how the green breaks and maybe where there's tiers, that sort of thing. Well, what I'm doing here is I'm moving the flag to where I think it is on the hole. That way I get a much more precise number of what club I should hit. And here we go. We've got a chance to redeem ourselves here with a gap wedge. I've got 112 with the crosswind 5 miles a little into our face. It's going to play like 114. Again, you can see what goes into the calculation there. Definitely have a little better lie. I'm in the fairway this time. I've got a bunker to clear right in front of me, so I'm hoping this number's right. It's a pretty good strike. It looks like it's coming right down on it. And now we have redeemed ourselves officially. We've got a great chance at birdie here all of a sudden. Here you can see the bunker that I needed to carry, and yeah, that ball's in good shape. Actually, this is perfect. I'm just below the hole a little bit. I've got a great crack at birdie. All right, I'd love to roll this one in. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, man. I wish the virtual caddy could read the putts for me. Oh, that was so close. I thought we had it, but that's another par. We're heading to a par 3. As we're walking up to the next hole and the sun is starting to show its face here, it's a great time for me to remind you that if you haven't already, please do hit subscribe. It helps support this show, but it's also going to keep you up to date on the latest and greatest in golf technology. You don't want to miss a thing. Hit subscribe. We got one hole to play here, guys. Let's do right by it. So unfortunately, we had a 5 there again. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to say 2 putts. Unfortunately, again, unfortunately, no penalties, and we're off to the next hole. Here we go. I have never had a hole-in-one in my life. Let's see if we can conjure one up here with the virtual caddy. So first thing I'm gonna do, again, I'm going to bounce into the view green. I'm gonna move that pin to where I believe it seems to be, which again is left over a bunker. Thank you, greenskeepers. They're really making things tough. It's telling me 8-iron there, and that's the club I'll pull. As you can see, again, you've got the expected shot dispersion. If we bounce in there, you can see I might catch that bunker if I pull one, but more than likely I'll be middle of the green to hopefully right at the flagstick, and I'm gonna go right at it. Again, if we wanna look at any things we got to avoid, we've got a bunker there at 123, terminating at 142. Getting back to the virtual caddy calculation here, we've got 147 to the pin there. It's playing like 140 though, because we've changed directions here. That was the hole we just played coming this way. Now we're going that way. And we've got the wind with us, which is nice. You can see that we are downwind. Now, a couple other great features of this watch here. Again, you can change hole. So if you find yourself in the wrong spot on course, very simple to go back, change hole. If we hit that action button again, we can go to our scorecard. Again, this is where you can make any updates to previous scores. Back button that one more time. We've got a pinpointer feature here, so you can actually see where the flagstick is. So if you find yourself with a blind shot, you know exactly where to go. Again, we have our wind direction built into this thing. And another really cool thing here is club stats. So again, how does it know that the 8-iron is going to be the club for me? Well, it's done that because it's built my bag with all the shots I've taken out here on course over the course of my 5 rounds. And you can see my normal 8-iron here, 148. My maximum, if I go 100% and I'm in perfect conditions, 164. And with an 8-iron, I hit the green right now 100% of the time. So it's very confident in that calculation. I'm confident too. I'm ready for an ace. Let's do it. It's up, it's away, and it looks like middle of the green. Distance is basically perfect. All right, as we walk up to the ball here, I do want to mention that if you are ready to buy yourself an S70, I would highly recommend you do it at our friends playbetter.com. They're the home of free 48-hour shipping across the continental United States. They've got a hassle-free money-back policy. Within 60 days, if you're not 100% satisfied, they'll give you your money back. You can exchange it for something else that they sell that you might like better. Although I can't imagine you're gonna like anything better than this, to be quite honest with you. And their customer service is just top-notch. So if you have questions, they are there to help. They're just the best. They really treat our people right here in the Let's Play Through community. Got the link down below. Hit that one. Oh, I didn't get it there. Cardinal sin. It's a little downhill I got. Just a little conservative. But there's a par. All right, guys, that's even par. I hope that gives you a great sense of what this virtual caddy can do for you, how it can help you improve your game and track everything you do out on course. I think it's just absolutely awesome, but it's only just a little piece of what this watch, the S70, can do. So if you haven't seen it, here's my full overview of this new Garmin S70. It is awesome. I'll catch you back here real soon on another edition of Let's Play Through.